Hi everyone. Today I want to speak about energy balancing on the twin flame journey, and I will just try to explain how it is important for the divine feminine to activate her feminine energy. So, you know that, like, largely as in the society that we live in, we don't have an opportunity to be in our feminine energy anymore. We have to go out there, work hard, strive to make things happen. There's a lot of wrong belief system about working hard and proving yourself and all of that, which a woman and a man both are subscribing to in their own ways. So, what does that lead to? That leads to very unhealed masculine energy from which both the man and the woman are operating. When you are coming in this journey, somewhere there is an activation of your feminine energy. There is now an awakening process necessary for you to go through, wherein your feminine energy is becoming active because you were not, in your feminine energy. So the feminine was very repressed. So, this activation of feminine energy will put you in a state of restfulness. It will put you in a place of abundance. Abundance is very much a feminine trait, to be able to create abundance for yourself and for people around you, right? That is a feminine trait. And similarly, this is the energy which will allow you to just come from a space of feeling. So, feelings are important. How you feel about something will govern your life rather than logically just doing something mechanically. Now, this is very plugged into plugging out of the matrix. What I mean to say by that is that this entire awakening of your feminine energy also corresponds to how you plug out of the matrix. Because the matrix currently is in a very unhealed masculine energy. The matrix, the way it is, holds no place for, the restfulness and the divinity of the feminine energy. So they go hand in hand, this entire process. So when you plug out of the matrix, many things, automatically will fall apart for you, that many of you would have noticed. For instance, your friendships will not, be the same. You will not be friends with the same people because you are healing and you no longer need certain people in your life. Like, in my experience, the divine, a divine push will only drive out some people out of my life. Even before meeting your twin flame, you will see you're making space for meeting your twin flame. I don't know how many of you have noticed this, but you can observe this. If there were some things that you dropped before you met your counterpart, like you could have dropped some very toxic friendships right before you met your twin flame. You could have, maybe just changed your job, or you could have some kind of a shift would have happened. Maybe you had finally closed a cycle with a karmic connection or something like that, but like the high order negativity of your life, you would have felt compelled to remove from your life. It would have become unbearable for you to make space for your counterpart. And when your counterpart, your awakening starts after meeting your twin flame and after connecting with your twin flame, then this kind of a cleanse sort of becomes very, very powerful, and you will cleanse more and more stuff out. So more friendships you will lose, right? More connections you will lose. What are these friendships you might lose? You will see that, your higher self will only pull you out of certain situations because of high ascension and the sensitivity that, you are experiencing because of your feminine nature getting awakened. That sensitivity of your feminine energy has to be protected. You know how babies are? Like, babies are so sensitive, right? And babies need a lot of protection. So, when a child is just born for several months, the baby is wrapped, and just to get that, give that feeling of feeling safe and feeling secure and everything, right? To the baby, how the baby is wrapped. It's because the baby is extremely sensitive, right? And with time, then the baby learns to adapt and everything, and the baby develops his or her own sort of immunity becomes, stronger, and he acclimatizes to the society around, but remains sensitive for a very long time. So similarly, when your feminine energy is activated, you will become very sensitive to various energies. Things will just overpower you completely. You cannot see movies anymore, right? which have action or anything like that. You can't sit and watch anything with a lot of conditioning. Like this happened to me. I could no longer watch, anything with a lot of action, drama, any pathos and everything, because so much of your own stuff is coming up. You're thinking my own life is a whole pathos that I have to look at, the wounding from childhood and everything, right? And so there will be less patience that the feminine energy has for drama, or for violence and action and all of that. And the stuff that matrix basically survives on, war and animosity, and this is wrong and that is wrong, so you will become very sensitive to that. Now this is just something that the awaken, the feminine energy, when it is awakening through ascension process, you will notice that this is a part of your ascension, that you will lose interest here, but you will also lose your friendships. So specifically, that if I have to talk about, here is like, my experience was like that, that I with one friend particularly, that I did not want to let go of, but my higher self wanted me to let go of that friendship, because it was doing a lot of damage and harm without my conscious self realizing that this friendship is damaging me. But there were some signs and symptoms, that I can look back at, and I can start seeing that when my feminine energy was awakening in its nascent stages, this kind of a friendship that I had with another woman, and for a long time, just sitting in the same room with her, and she was in a very toxic situation, and somewhere I was also witnessing that toxic situation, and it became so overpowering for me because my sensitivity was so high. I could catch on to subliminal themes and energies of people around that she was surrounded with, that I literally had to excuse myself and leave the room, and soon after drive back home, because I immediately just felt this discomfort of energies of the people around. So your higher self, and after that, whenever I made plans to meet her, they never came through. And once in my deep meditations with my guides, I was told that my higher self did not want me to be in this friendship anymore. So you see, this was a friendship whose breakdown I was actually resisting, right? But it was necessary. So your own guides and your higher self will know what is wrong for you, because you're becoming very sensitive. You will not be able to tolerate some friendships. You will not be able to be in some situations. Many of you will develop alcohol intolerance, right? Many of you will develop coffee intolerance. Um, Many of you will no longer have the habits that you used to have, like smoking, or any kind of recreational drugs that you were using. Your food habits can change drastically. You could want to have maybe vegetarian pure food, or just fruits and high vibrational stuff, because your energies are ascending. So where are the energies ascending? In your body. What does the body need? The body needs, that the sensitivity of the body is also going up. The body has to be able to host high ascension energies. So you will automatically go through some kind of a cleanse. If you're going through very proper ascension, this cleanse involves the cleanse of food, it involves the cleanse of thought processes, it involves the cleanse of, Netflix and, movies and drama and the books and your career and, the people that, you are meeting every day, parties and, your socializing, your social life, relationships, your family. You are made alone on this journey, and that aloneness is so important for you, because that is the aloneness in which your true self is able to come out. This is where you can be reflective. When you are alone, you can reflect on how things make you feel, how somebody makes you feel. You can heal it within you, of course, but there are some friendships and some people that they already have an expiration date in your life, and you have to allow those expiration dates to come into place. You no longer are chasing friendships or chasing relationships because you're afraid of being alone. Most times in our life, the society encourages us to just have socializing and friendships, because of the fear of being alone. Oh, it's better you don't stay alone, so you have a lot of friends. Oh, it's better that you're not alone in the house, so you go and watch a movie, with your family or someone else, or it's better you don't do this, you don't travel alone, so you just wait, till somebody else is ready to travel with you. All of those things have to be dropped on this journey. You are becoming the divine feminine. And it is important for your journey to come into your feminine power. And the feminine power by itself is a very beautiful power. It's complete in itself in so many ways. It doesn't need anything, and it is receptive. If you want to be receptive for your divine masculine, when we speak of union, we speak of the receptivity of the feminine, right? The quality of the feminine is in her receptivity. Even biologically speaking, even sexually speaking, you can make sense of how the female body is. It is in, she receives sex, for instance. She's the receptacle that she's holding, right? So, this exactly is something that also operates energetically. So, of course, if you are a male and you are on the feminine, you are operating as a divine feminine on this journey, then this has to be adapted to your way of, being the more receiving energy. And you have to look more deeply into actually both men and women on twin flame journey identifying as divine feminines have to look at, their dominant energy and who they really are at the core of it. And that needs some inner work, that needs some, your inner guidance will unravel to you your dominant energy. Because remember, body is immaterial, body is just a carrier of the energy. It makes no difference if you're in a female or a male body on this journey. So, just understanding what your core frequency is, what your core energy is with regards to your twin flame, as well as individually, will bring you closer to knowing, how to align your energies better. So, simply speaking, coming back to this point, the feminine energy is the energy of receiving. To receive your masculine, to have that receptivity for your masculine, you have to make space. And how do you make space for that? You have to purge out the fears and the wounds and create that space in the physical as well. If you are still plugged into toxic situations, then there is no space for the union to happen. So, purging out toxic situations, take account of how every friendship feels to you. It's very important to do that. And I'm just sharing from my experience of my entire life. I had very bad friendships. And this was, something which used to trigger me a lot. And I used to not value, in the heart, I used to think that friendships always end up hurting me. So, there's no point being attached to friends. So, somewhere I had this fear of, connecting deeply with friends and everything. And there were friendships where I wanted to have deeper friendships, but I could not. There were friendships which were very toxic. There were friendships which were playing out the patterns of my childhood. So if there is wounding present from either of your mother or your father, let us say you've had a mother wound, okay, where as a child your mother and you did not connect very well, and there was always a feeling of abandonment or of her not being present with you emotionally, not meeting your needs and so on. What this leads to is that your friendships will play out that same pattern. Okay, so your teenage friendships, your friend will also turn out to be like this. You will again have an abandonment experience with a friend. Then as you grow older, you'll again have female friendships that will feel the same way to you. And this is this constant cycle that you're going to be in. Okay, and many people can be toxic for you. Some friends can be friends who are controlling you, or who want to be very judgmental for you. This was a pain point for me, where I had some friends who were very judgmental of me and how I was, and I used to still give them space, in my life, and I used to still value their judgment, because that was all an indication of low self-worth. That was all an indication of me not owning my power. But the moment I shifted, and with the self work and with inner work and with a lot of self love, conscious self work, self love work, looking at places where I had rejected myself, when that healing happened, there was no space in my life for those friendships anymore. A majority of those friendships fell away completely on their own. And a lot of the times, this has to be noted, that there is something, which many people call a divine test. But it's somehow like, it can be, you can call it a test, or you can call it, a test of, how far you have come. But sometimes some friendships will still, remain in your life, because there is still a test there for you to understand, have you really, really come into self-love? If you still have a toxic friend, if you still have a friend who makes you feel less about yourself, who triggers you, who makes you feel bad about yourself, who makes you, where you are either, overgiving in that friendship, that can also be very toxic, where you feel you're responsible for your friend's happiness. That's another larger, deeper problem, that many divine feminines have this habit of overgiving. Because again, the whole idea is, if I overgive and if I give, I show up, then I will receive something. Which is, the underlying feeling is that you want to receive something, but you're not conscious of it. You may have justified this overgiving as your generous nature or your kind nature, or it's important to be kind to people, it's important to be nice to people, all the moralizing and the morality of it. That is not the way, you are ever going to be loving. Love is just something which flows from the heart. It doesn't need any morality around, I need to be loving, I need to be kind. It just flows out of you when you have love, when you have kindness oozing out of you. Everybody receives your love and everybody receives your kindness, right? But certain toxic friendships, if you still have them, then look at how they are triggering you and what the dynamic is under there, how you really feel about some people. And if it is, pray to your higher self, pray to your spirit guides to show you the pathway out of that dynamic. And they will create the pathway of least resistance for you to get out of that relationship or that dynamic. Okay, this is very important. You don't have to go and snub anybody or scold anybody or fight with anybody. As much as your ego self would have wanted to do this in some place, suddenly you realize that this friend of yours for the last 10 years is someone that has been toxic with you, or has manipulated you, or has a different agenda with you, or has not had the best interest for you in his or her heart. It doesn't mean now you go have a face off with this friend. Now that you're realizing your power, you can, but there is no point to that. The point is then that your higher self guides you about what to do. Your higher self will tell you, maybe you can have a conversation and you can end that friendship, or maybe you can just allow time only to completely remove this person, and be very conscious. If whenever you have interactions with people who trigger you, you need to be very, very conscious in those interactions and be aware of how that person is making you feel deep down in your heart. Be aware of that feeling. That is important. Because if you still, sometimes the tendency we have is that we let toxicity be, we accept toxicity. So sometimes it can be that you have a friendship or a connection or a relationship where there are 10 good things, but there are 90 bad things. Your mind can focus on the 10 good things to just keep it, because there is an insecurity, there is a fear underneath it, which is going to say, but these 10 good things this person has, so you know what, let me just continue this friendship, right? But on this journey, you will be triggered again and again and again on these places where you are struggling, where you are not letting go of things that are not meant for you. If you do not create space, in your life, then healthy friendships will also not come your way. Think about it. With friendships, remember, there is a rule where you are not supposed to overgive to anybody, because everybody's source is the divine, okay? And secondly, nobody else is supposed to overgive to you. So you are also not codependent on anyone else. You also don't need anybody for your social value, or to protect you, or to love you, or to validate you, or to make you feel whole or complete, or to have your social entertainment. You don't need any friend for that. Okay, you don't need any human being. Sometimes, in societies, we are made to believe that we need friends in important places, for instance. Especially it's true in, Indian culture, that if your friend is from an important place, it's somehow a very strange mindset, which is a feudal mindset and everything that still remains, in our society. And I'm sure it is also true, outside of India, in other cultures as well. But basically, this mindset that I need a friend because they will protect me, they will help me, I need friends in important places, that's all nonsense. When you need help, if at all you ever need help, God will help you in the way you can't even imagine. Your important friend may not be able to show up for you in that moment, but another person, in another form, that help will come to you. So specifically, if you hold friendships because you think those friendships are contributing to your life in some way, in a way where you are, that contribution is a contribution you're attracting out of fear. fear of being alone, fear of being rejected, fear of not having friendships, fear of not having help when I need it, and all of that, then those friendships you should reevaluate. A friendship is very natural, a friendship is very free flowing, a friendship has the best interest of each other in the heart. A friendship has no expectations because it's a natural, phenomenon of just interacting with someone whose energy you enjoy, whose company you enjoy. They don't need anything from you, they respect your boundaries. You don't need anything from them, you respect their boundaries, you respect their growth. Your friends need not be on the twin flame journey, they need not be on a spiritual ascension path, but it is okay. You respect their boundaries, you respect their limitations. You're not now taking the responsibility of helping them with the inner work that you're doing if it's unnecessary. If they come to you for some advice, you may offer it with love and, with understanding of their limitations, understanding how much it took for you to basically um, ascend, how long and tedious a path you have walked on to be here at this point of time. So there is no point in talking down to your friend or in explaining something to someone else who's not yet done their own walking, right? So there is a lot of respect for individuality in friendships, and there is always a feeling that I'm happy to meet my friend. This is so simple. Like, I know that the way I would let go of a friendship, where I realized, like, long ago now, how some friendships were not good for me. Simply speaking, before meeting that friend, I used to feel a certain discomfort in my stomach, or in my in my abdomen region, in my chest area. I would just feel a discomfort before going to meet a friend. And that, if you feel that whenever you're going to meet a friend, then reconsider that friendship. You're not comfortable there yet. Okay? Means that there is something that your body is trying to tell you about that friendship, that you don't need that friendship anymore in your life. That body is way more intelligent than the mind, and the fear based just stories that the mind creates, and because of that we hold on to something, the insecurity, the attachment, and all of that of the mind. The body is very intelligent. The body will guide you and tell you how you feel. You can also notice this when you go and meet your friend, how you feel within again, you know. So take that as a cue. Do you feel uplifted after meeting a friend? This used to be my cue as well, where repeatedly I would meet another friend, every 2 months or 3 months I would catch up with a friend, and for a cup of hot beverage or something like that. And every time I would do that, when I would sit in my car again, I would feel a little less about myself than how I was before I went to see him. So this was an indication that my body is telling me, you know what, this is not your cup of tea anymore, this is not your friend anymore, right? So don't be in this position anymore. Don't put yourself in positions which compromise with your ethics, with your ethos, with how you're feeling. Don't place yourself in situations which make you feel less worthy of who you are. You're very worthy. Once you heal your self-worth wound, and you will start to see how things align, with the high self-worth that you have. Nobody will disrespect you. If disrespect comes your way, you will know how to stand up for yourself, and you will know how to say no to it. You will come in your power immediately, and you will cut that out immediately, right? You will not allow anybody to make you feel small, and you don't have to be a warrior out there doing defensive posturing or something, to protect yourself. No, it's a natural way of being. Naturally, things will align with your vibration. Low self-worth is a very low vibration, and that leads to low vibrational friendships. It leads to low vibrational relationships, and your twin flame really, really wants you to come out of this low vibrational energy. This is why they trigger you in these places as well. This is why your self-worth wound is always very triggered with your twin flame, because your twin flame wants you to come out of that low self-worth cloud, that you're living in, thinking that you are less in some sense, thinking that you're not good enough, thinking that you don't deserve something, or your value lies on how much money you make, or what you do, how much you know, how you look. If you ever are still valuing yourself based on these metrics, your counterpart is going to trigger you on all of these in all of these areas, in all of these places. So it is imperative to understand that low self-worth has attracted bad friendships traumas, from childhood have led to patterns of bad friendships where you could feel repeated abandonment or repeated betrayal or repeated cheating or repeated situations where your friends bully you or treat you as less. Okay, it's better to be alone than be in bad company. You must remember that always. Better to just be by yourself, travel by yourself, spend time by yourself, do whatever on earth you want to do by yourself, and be your own best friend. That is very, very important. If you don't have a good friendship with yourself, you will not have a good friendship on the outside. And clear away this space, by exploring within and looking at, your current friendships, looking at what you really need, looking at the limited energy that you have, basically, in some sense. Your time is limited. So just let that be spent on things which are high vibrational, which make sense to you in your heart, rather than repeating the same patterns of pain and hurt and with the same kind of people, only changing faces. What's the point of that? Be by yourself instead, right? That is a very, very high value thing to do, to spend time with yourself. Very, very high value thing for you to do. Okay. So, this is all I wanted to speak about today. So, essentially, let your friendships fall off if they are falling off on this journey. Don't try to hold on to anything. There is a higher purpose. You want to attract new friends, you can always just set the intention that I am ready to have new high vibrational friends, which will match my vibration. Okay. And work on the triggers, because bad friendships are an incredible opportunity as well, to look at what is missing within you, to look at what is being triggered inside of you, to look at what is unhealed within you. So utilizing the negative experiences of friendships, um, to look at what is unhealed within you, is a very smart and sensible way to exist. So I hope that this was helpful and it gave you some confidence that it's okay if you're losing friends. It's okay, you're moving on, you're becoming a new person. You have to become a receptacle for your counterpart as well. So you have to create space, at least remove the toxicity, so higher vibrational energies of union and love and oneness can be the energies you shift into. All right. And your new friendships that come into your life will not have any effort. They will be natural, free flowing, expectation free, and they will be positive and they will be uplifting, and they will, or they'll just be neutral and uplifting. Neutral is also actually a very positive state to be in, but largely they will be uplifting. So for that, don't be afraid to let go of the old. Okay. Only when you let go of the old, the new can come in. So remember that. And if you feel guided to book a one-on-one session with me, my email address is imacompletelife@gmail.com. You can write to me. In this one-on-one session, we also, take up an exercise to go deeper and to connect with our inner self, and do some healing, within the session as well. That is always my perspective, that I want everyone to at least have some experience of healing in the session, along with the conversation and the general talk that we have in the session. Okay. So it's a 3-part session. I can tell you more about it when you email me about how it works and everything. And I would also like to remind you all that there is a workshop on the 24th of September at 7:30 p.m. Indian Standard Time. It's a Sunday, so it's a workshop that is going to be led by an expert. And it's going to be focused on inner union and inner marriage. So basically, bringing in the feminine and the masculine energies together into inner union. This is going to be very powerful, and I'm certain for many of you, this will lead to outer reunions as well. And I'm also creating a meditation track, which is going to be focused on healing and connecting deeper with the energetic aspects of your feminine and masculine energy. It's a very transformational meditational experience that I'm trying to formulate in the form of a guided meditation, which will be for your weekly practice, and it will definitely help you in aligning your energies. That this is a journey of energy alignment largely. This is exactly actually what it is. So this meditation track will be very useful for you all, and it's a part of the package. When you sign up for the workshop, so the total cost of the workshop is only INR 3,500, and within this you also get that the track, the meditation track. So, and of course, there are different prices for people coming in internationally. If you're coming from the US, it's about 48 USD, it's 44 euros if you're paying in euros, and 38 pounds if you're paying in pounds, and so on. This is for the platform Wise, from where I receive international payments. If you're going to be only paying through PayPal, then the amount will be slightly more, to factor in the higher charges of PayPal. Okay, so this is an incredible opportunity. If you are free on the Sunday of 24th of September at 7:30 p.m. Indian Standard Time, which is going to be your afternoon if you're in the UK, or in Europe if you're in the US, it's your Sunday morning of 24th. Do sign up for this workshop. It's not expensive at all. It's going to be a very transformational experience, and I'm very certain it will have great impact for your journey. And especially if you've been in separation for a while and you are sort of tired of being in that separation energy, then this is a great place for you to be in. And this is going to be a completely channeled, a divinely guided meditation, and I'm very excited to see how it works out, and how the expert will guide through this meditation workshop. All right, and you also get the track, so that is an added benefit to sustain what you take away from this, right, in the future as well. So if you feel guided to attend this, then again you have to write to me. My email address is imacomplete@gmail.com, and we can take it from there. So guys, sending you lots of love. Take care.